Hello everybody, how are you doing tonight? It is Deanna, toolsofenergyprotection.com, your energy shift expert, Akashic Records advisor. Whoops, looks like I need to put myself on mute here, just a moment. There we go. And welcome aboard everybody. So it is 11/20/2024 and I am trying to get myself, I'm telling you, it's one of those days already. How's everybody doing? Let me get myself on here. There we go. Okay. So wait for a few of you to jump on. I see I have a couple viewers. Today, again, is 11/20/2024, and you can see I'm a little discombobulated. It's about 9 o'clock at night, Mountain Standard Time. And the reason that I'm coming on is, wow, what a day. And so many of you had reached out to me today. It was just back to back working with folks because of what's happening right now. And yesterday was the 19th of November, and we had that big astrological event where Pluto was entering Aquarius for the next 20-year cycle. Well, I don't know if you're I'm telling you, I don't know if you're anything like me, but last night, went to bed feeling pretty good and got up this morning. I keep dropping my calendar down here. I got up this morning and it just didn't really feel like I wanted to get out of bed. And yesterday was an absolutely wonderful, beautiful day. I felt fantastic. I felt like I could do anything. I was so excited for this next cycle to lock in place. And then when it came time for me to get up this morning, I felt like I hit a brick wall. A lot of negative energy thoughts coming in my head. I'm like, where is this coming from? And it was a struggle for me to get up, get dressed, and even get to the gym, which I enjoy. How many of you out there are feeling like that? If you could give me a thumbs up, smiley face, something, and let me know. Because that's one of the reasons that I'm coming on here so late. Hi, Neptune, good to see you. I normally don't come on this late. But when I saw, yeah, you felt that way too. But when I had so many people emailing me today, holding last minute appointments today, and reaching out to me and talking to me about the craziness, I'm like, I need to get on, because where there's one, there's many. I live out here in Colorado, so when we see deers, the rule is if you see one deer, there's going to be more. So we're all deers. And I wanted to share with you that, this Pluto going into Aquarius, it's just one aspect of what's going on astrologically. And if you're new to astrology, which I'm fairly new, but I understand what's happening up here, the planets shift. And as they shift, it shifts the frequency on the planet. That's called Schumann's resonance, if you want to go look that up. And astrology is the big picture. It's like a grandfather clock with different cogs and wheels in it that go tick, 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 and then you get the cuckoo coming out of the clock, or the bells chiming on the half hour, quarter hour, whatever it is. So our stars that are around our planet shift. And as they shift, that shifts the frequency on the planet, the bioelectromagnetic energy. It shifts it. That in turn shifts our human bodies. Our bodies are mostly water and salt. How many of you know that out there, that most of our bodies are water? We're mostly water with some salt. And then we have electronics in our body that moves our hearts and different parts of our bodies and our brains. Oh, thank you for the hearts. And if you know that, and you're consciously aware of that, then I want you to put this picture together with me. Okay? Planets around the Earth are shifting all the time. The moon is one of the biggest gravitational pulls for the water. In case you didn't know that, go look it up. This is science. No woo-woo, this is science. And if the moon is capable of shifting that much water, which the ocean is salt water and actually has electric in it, then why would you think that we would be any different from that? And, you know, I work with Akashic Records, which means I work with more than one timeline. I have one comment that says, I thought we were bodies of light. I'll get to that in a minute. She is correct, but I'll get to that. And so in this body that we're in, we have salt, water, and electric. And if you are bioelectromagnetic and you are on top of a planet that's bioelectromagnetic, you know, we've got ley lines. There's lots of that stuff. You know, go check it out. Again, this is all science. And then we have planets that shift and, if you will, undulate, as a word somebody taught me once, you know, lots of movement. Then we're susceptible to that whether we recognize it consciously or not. So your average normal person that gets up, goes to work, does their thing, raises their family, and years goes by, they still feel this, just maybe not to the degree that we do as highly sensitive or empathic people, right? And so when we had this lock of the next 20 years in place, like I said, when it first came, I was feeling great, fantastic. I was like, woohoo, here we go, right? And this morning I woke up and I'm like, oh my goodness. And on the world scene, I try not to watch the world scene too much, but in the world scene right now, we have some stuff going on that's not really happy. And there's people wanting to play with nuclear stuff. And then there's other people that are pointing fingers at other people that they did it, they started it, and I don't care who did what. But what I'm saying is that you can tell that there's an agitation level that's happening. And so I wanted to point out some things to you about what we're facing now. Now, just so you know, there's some astrology where, if I remember it correctly, I'm just studying astrology. This is brand new to me. I feel the energy shifting. I just want to know why. But there is a point where we're going to be at 0. I think it is 0 degrees in Aries. And again, if you all are watching and you know astrology better than I do apologize. It's a new conscious awareness thing for me. But when you feel something in your life all the time, you get to the point where you're like, where's that coming from? And then you find out and then you want to study it. So that's what I've been doing. All right. So Pluto was last in Aquarius 248 years ago. Do you remember this time last year when I did a prediction? You can find it on YouTube for 2024, and I told you it was all about the twos. Well, the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, from my understanding, was 248 years ago from today, 11/20/24. Okay, that was 1777, I think, is when they're talking about it. And there was so much stuff that happened. And I want to cover a little bit of that because it's extremely important what's happening and to understand where we are in time and space and understand what's happening in our world. And if you're really good at astrology, the cool part is astrologers can turn those little maps forward, find the frequencies, and they can turn them back and find the frequencies, and they look at the history of mankind, and they can see what was happening. Okay, let's see, just a moment. Okay. And I looked at this a few days ago, but I want to make sure I have it right. Sometimes the brain, okay. So, you had the last time, it was 1778 to 1798. Remember I was telling you it's about the twos? Well, if you think about it, if the last time that happened, if we're doing the math right, was 248 years ago, that's 2 and 4, and 2 times 4 is 8. So it's a sequence, it's a combination, it's a locker code, if you will. At that time, we also had the American Revolution going on. So that's a lot of people being undulated. It's a lot of people saying, hey, I want my freedom. And I'm willing to fight for it, no matter what it takes. And I'm sure there were people pressured into fighting at that time. And the American Revolution is what formed this country. And if you think about when we signed the Declaration of Independence, the people that were involved in that, in planning that, they were Masons. Masons knew a lot about astrology, and they knew a lot about these energies that I'm just now learning about. And if you have a map, I always feel the energies, but if you have a map and you know when they're coming, then you can line different things up to your benefit. Listen closely. When I learned that, I started looking at the timing of certain movies, certain releases, certain things happening in the world. So if you'll notice, when we had the last election and the person that was named in the U.S. was named to be the next president, it wasn't until that happened that some of this other stuff has been unleashed. I just want you to notice that. Politically, I'm not on one side or the other. What I'm saying is notice, be aware of what's happening in your environment. And my spirit guides are really good to me. They tell me a lot of things because I know I got a lot of irons in the fire and I got a lot of things going on. I would love to do nothing but just study astrology for a couple of years, but you know, life happens, right? That's why we have beautiful astrologers we pay. So you had the American Revolution going on during that time. There was also the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution. I didn't really study that too much in my history classes. The discovery of Uranus or Uranus, whichever way you like it. The other thing to pay attention to is it was the Age of Enlightenment. And I studied the Age of Enlightenment back in college. And what happened was they went to thought. So there was a separation at that time between church and state, between spirituality as a ruling factor, church, and state being logic. And so there was a lot of things being put forward of like, you know, I think, you know, therefore I am kind of thing. And the Age of Enlightenment was for people to begin to realize, you know, for the first time that they had some autonomy. It wasn't just the haves and the have-nots. But there was thinking going on there, and then the haves were the ones doing the thinking, but still. And so you had a lot of different things going on during the Age of Enlightenment. And you can go look up St. Google if you like, if you need a quick history lesson. But, hang on. It was using reason and inquiry to improve society, it says right here on Google. But that's when the idea of liberty came up. Progress came up. Again, the separation of church and state. So you've got a lot of things that they're dividing. And if you have church and state as one, and it's all one big group, and then you decide, okay, we need two separate factions to rule. I want you to think about that. Because the church, if you're loyal to them and you want to pay and you want to pray, sorry to be so rude, but you know, it's like there were times in John Milton's time when you would pay a priest to pray in Latin for your deceased loved one so they'd be in a different level of hell or purgatory. Okay? It's a lot. So there was much things happening and changing at that time. The other one that caught my eye, I shouldn't say that because that sounds gross. The other thing that brought my attention was the Industrial Revolution. And I remember studying that in high school and college. And that's when science and that's when technology came forward more than it ever had. There was a lot of inventions at that time. And you're thinking, that's fantastic. And it offered people that were farming and creating food and doing a lot of rural activities the opportunity to earn money differently, which when I studied it the first time, I went, yay! You know, this back in high school. I thought that's fantastic. And give, you know, people that couldn't otherwise make, you know, a living could move into a town and go to work and make money. Well, if you think about that, during the Industrial Revolution, they started mass production. And if you go and study that, that's when child labor started. Because, in America anyway, because pretty much anybody could work. And so you had the guys that were wealthy and they wanted to make more widgets. So they paid people very low wages because people were excited to make anything, outside their rural community. And they could pay them less and keep more for themselves. If you haven't seen The Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens or read it, you might want to go read it. It'll give you a great insight about what was going on. So this Industrial Revolution created a lot of wealth for a few people up here and poverty for a lot of people down here. Workhouses, poor houses. Go look it up. So all of that change in economics, in society, in the different tiers of society, it also created more of a middle class. But people began to lose their identity. Okay? So that's one of the most important things to pay attention to as we go forward is, what is your identity? Who are you? Where are you? And I'll leave this video up for, people to watch later. May not be popular. People may be swiping away. I've been looking at my stats lately. But I am letting you know what's happening. Giving you some tools to go look things up, to look in different places. And then look at that. And then take that information and look at what's happening in the world. Put your glasses on, if you will. And ask yourself, okay? Industrial Revolution, right now we have an AI revolution going on. And I've seen lots of people post on social media, why don't you get AI to do, my laundry and the things I don't want to do, as opposed to art and, other things. AI is taking over a lot of creative licenses, although I think human creativity is much better. So my question is, if they take certain things away, how did that parallel to the Industrial Revolution? And who's benefiting from that? And the poorhouses, if people can't get jobs because a computer's doing it or artificial intelligence is doing it. It's nothing to fear. It's to be aware, awake, and alert. That's what I will always teach you at toolsofenergyprotection.com, is to stay aware, awake, and alert. Now, let me answer some questions, and then I'm going to get back to what you can do now to help yourself and your family. So let me switch and see what we've got for comments here. This one over here says, yes, I feel like I had the flu, headache, and lots of pressure in my third eye. Absolutely. That's because a new level of awareness was happening. Oh, well, hi, Star 7C. Good to see you. Let's see. Another person says, I thought we were bodies of light. Okay, so that's a great point. It won't take too much time to teach you all. But basically, the light of all lights is really, really high vibrational frequency. And then it comes down, and as it slows, it becomes color, and then it slows some more, and then it gets more into a mass, a physical mass. So if you ever meditated or had an out-of-body experience, you come back to this, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so heavy. That's why. So yes, we're bodies of light, just different degrees of light. And this one's really slow. The physical human form. All right, thank you for your question or your comment. Okay, next person says, a 0-point quantum energy field is now fully activated as Pluto remains in Aquarius and travels across 0 degrees for the 4th time until late December. This is the biggest cosmic shift of the decade, and we will bring more into our highest consciousness. Oh, Jessica, you were awesome. Thank you for sending this over. Online to manifest a new dream and a reality with the universe. That's absolutely right. A person who represents Pluto and Capricorn to you may be leaving your life now, or you may be having a new relationship. All right. And it goes on. Thank you so much for pointing that out here. North Node, Aries, and Mars in Leo, 4th degree. All right. Thank you so much, Jessica, for sharing that. So she's absolutely right. So that's the other thing that I came on to tell you all, a couple other things. So today is the 20th. So tomorrow's the 21st, and then you have the 22nd. And we're coming up in America on Thanksgiving Day. So that's coming up really closely. And a couple things for you. If you're feeling discombobulated, if you're feeling, oh my gosh, I got hit by a Mack truck and you didn't upright yourself today, we are going to be having a roller coaster ride for the next 20 years. Don't worry. It's not, it's up and down. Okay, it's up and down, and you've got to be fast in pivoting on your feet, to capture what's coming next. You'll be able to do it. You just have to focus. This is, I had trouble today with shiny object syndrome. Too many things going on. So it's about focusing one thing at a time, getting yourself a calendar, step by step, whatever you have to do to stay on track for wherever you're pointed. It's very super important. And you'll also notice that you're going to be asked to be more extroverted. So those of you that are introverts and you're like, oh, I don't want to, I get it. A lot of us empaths are like, the energy, It's a time for you to step up and step out. Time for you to be loud and proud. Because my guys were telling me the last 12 to 13 years had been about the relationship inside of yourself. How many of you did shadow work in 2015, 2017? There was a lot of it. And now it's time for us to take whatever we managed to heal, bring, whatever we did, right? And begin to shine that light out for the rest of the world, because the rest of the world needs it. And you're going to also notice that people that are highly sensitive, empaths, got more spidey sense stuff going on, they're going to start magneting more together. They started earlier this year. But I've been asked to do in-person classes as opposed to internet classes, which I'll do both, because some people are, they're Learjets in the shop and they can't make it here from, Ireland. So people are wanting groups. They're wanting to come together as a collective to know that they are not alone. So I will be putting on, I gotta love Instagram. All of a sudden there were fireworks going on. I'm going to be putting on some stuff. You'll see it. Don't worry. Go to toolsofenergyprotection.com. Click on events. It'll be there. And I'm going to have some things for people in person, but I'll only have so many people because we need to keep the groups tight. This is not for hundreds and thousands of people. It's more like, groups of 12 or groups of 18, something small where we can all get to know each other and have interpersonal relationships, because that's what it's going to at this time. People want to have interpersonal relationships. They want to know that they're not the only ones having spidey senses and feeling things, crazy things. And let's see here just a second. So I'll be at For Heaven's Sake Book tomorrow, Thursday. And I do have some times available. If you want to get on my schedule, you can call the store at 303-964-9339. If you have trouble, if you're on Facebook, just private message me right here on the platform. If you're on Instagram, just private message me right here on the platform. And I'll make sure that you get a time slot, just in case, there's lots of people calling the store looking for, help right now. So if you can't get through, message me. I'll make sure you get on the schedule. And then Friday's Fair Friday. So for those of you that need a discount, you're feeling a little pinch of the penny in your purse, that's going to be the ideal time for you to get in. Remember that a week from tomorrow already is Thanksgiving. So a lot of you are going to be with family members. There's trauma and drama and triggers of all kinds. And so there's a genetic lineage there for triggers. Most of you have them. And if you would like to have those triggers broken, removed, pulled out energetically so you can show up and feel centered within yourself, then get on my schedule, because Friday will be the last time I'm at the store before Thanksgiving. So make sure you're on my schedule. And what we'll do is we'll go in there and we're going to get into your energy field. That's your toroidal field. That's where all your chakras come out. And if there's a little negative entity or energy in there, we're going to pluck it right on out Love my hand. We're going to pluck it out so that when you're in the vibration of people that maybe you're only with once a year because you have to be, it's not so owie. But you'll be able to flow and be centered. It's an amazing feeling. Just amazing. All right. The next thing I wanted to share with you is that on Saturday, this coming up Saturday, which will be the 23rd, on my YouTube channel. If you don't know where my YouTube channel is, there's a link here and there's a link here, or you can just type in my name, YouTube at Deanna Gloyd. It'll pop right up. So at 11 o'clock Mountain Time on Saturday, I've been doing a lot of little shorts, you know, and you can see them in the streams here, stories, reels, that kind of thing, about disembodied spirits, ghosts. You know, I try to be a little bit funny. It's a very serious subject, but, you know, if you've been around me any length of time, you know I like to be funny. And you can catch the shorts on YouTube. You could look at them in one of the feeds here, the reels. And what I'm going to be talking about is having disembodied spirits or ghosts that are either in your house, in your energy field, or they may be attached to you. One of my students recently brought to my attention attachments, and I knew they were there. I just didn't have a right word for them. And when, you know, how to know if they were in you. So there were some thoughts I would have during the day, weren't pleasant. I thought they were just negative thoughts. I'd push them away. And come to find out, they were attachments. Okay? So we're going to be talking about that. I did one about, you know, a creepy doll. You know, if you've ever looked in the eyes of a creepy doll and then you go away feeling creepy. It is possible for you to pick up a negative entity or a negative energy from an object. Okay? It's also, you know, they're like fleas. And you could walk near somebody that has a dark energy or entity, and that entity goes, oh, look, there's somebody of the light, and they jump in their energy field. So we're going to make you aware of those things, especially right now. This is also a spiritual warfare. Like never before, the ambiguous they is trying to control everybody's mind, you know, and lead you in directions that you may not want to go. Just absolutely amazing. And they do it by putting things out in the media. They allow different movies to be released. I'm calling it. And there's a movie that was just released, I think, a couple days ago. It opened this last weekend. And it was a Christmas movie, and I thought, oh, this will be fun. I'm going to go see it, you know, see if it's any good. Then I might take my daughter to go see it. I would never take anybody that's impressionable to see that movie. There's a scene in there that's deplorable. Talk about cognitive dissonance. Because there's a scene in there where somebody does an affectionate motion towards another person and then turns it into a violent action. And a lot of people saw it, didn't even think about it, but it's called cognitive dissonance. You cannot have love and fear in the same room. It's not possible. It's not possible to treat somebody with a loving gesture and then beat them. It's not there. It's disturbing. Extremely disturbing. And they pass it off as entertainment. That goes into your subconscious mind. And now if you're like this, if you watch enough movies, right, you watch the violence. Did you know that if you watch a movie and has a lot of action in it, that your brain picks that up and it wires down to your body, and your body actually wants to move? And if you're sitting in a theater being quiet or just eating popcorn or whatever you're doing, that your brain and your body are disconnected more because it's cognitive dissonance? Just a second. Okay. So another comment about entities. And if people don't know they're attached, it can cause different behavioral issues. And yes, I'm going to be kind and not talk about that publicly. It's just when you have an attachment of some sort, could be in your energy field at a different level or layer you're not aware of, been there, it can cause you to act differently than you normally would. That's why they say birds of a feather. Okay. Let me see. What else was I talking about? Sorry. It's been a long day. Okay, before Thanksgiving. All right. So if you're having family trauma drama and you're like, I'm just so done with it, but I still have to go sit in the same, room and be present with those people, make sure you get on my books tomorrow. You can call 303-964-9339, for heaven's sake, book in Denver. Again, if they, if they're busy and the phone's ringing off the wall and you really want to get on my schedule, just send me a message here on Facebook. You can private message me. My phone number is actually listed here. Same over as Instagram, because I know a lot of stuff is going on. A lot of stuff is going on right now. So this is a fight, if you will, for your very soul. And I don't like that word fight, especially because I'm not in that great a shape, But realistically, there is a manipulation struggle going on for your mind and your soul. And your heart. Guard your heart and your mind is what the Bible tells you. So begin to filter what's coming in. Be aware of it. Be more conscious of it. I implore you to be more conscious about what you're putting in here and what you're putting in here. Let's see. I feel like sometimes you can even see it in somebody's eyes. Absolutely. You can see attachments in people's eyes. Some people are just, you look in there and you don't see the light in their eyes. Could be that. Could be boredom. Anyway. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll be on YouTube Live 11 to 2 this coming up Saturday. And I'm going to be talking about those kinds of things and bringing you awareness. Here's the bonus. I'm not asking you to sign up. I'm not asking for your email. Most people in my line of work, attend this seminar, get this free book, put your email here, right? And then they send you emails forever. I'm not doing that this time. This is, when we were kids, we used to play a game called Red Rover. For those of you too young to remember, maybe you can look it up. But basically, we'd stand in a line and we'd hold hands. And then somebody from the other line holding hands would run over and try to break our hands free. But anyway, there was a statement, we would say all in free, which meant, we were dropping our hands. And so this is an ollie in free. I'm not charging you for this. It just costs you your time. That's it. And these are some real things that you can actually do something about. Another heads up for you. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. Something else to watch out for when what you're putting in your mouth. There is a chemical that's used freely in a lot of products that you use that weakens your immune system. It weakens your body. And this is just one. There's more than one. But this one in particular is my all-time favorite because it's used most widely and most people don't even look at the labels. They don't read about it. You're tired, you go shopping, you just put the same things in the cart and rinse and repeat. So this particular chemical was so bad back in 98. I remember seeing a lot of news about it and how that people discovered it was in there and they were shocked and they decided to let their money do the talking. If you want to vote for anything or unvote for something, let your money do the talking. So there was this big movement at that time. And one of the major chemical companies that produced the product it was in, their stocks took a nosedive. Their sales took a huge nosedive. Because people are like, yeah, we're not buying that. And it was just overnight. So what did they do? They sent their chemist back to the lab. And they said, change it by just one little tiny element or molecule. I'm not a scientist, but something. Just a little bit. And when they changed it just a little bit, it gave them the ability to give it a different name. So now when people were looking on the labels, the name of the product the chemical they weren't buying in their products was no longer there. It was a different chemical. And they came out and said, oh, look, it's new and improved. No, it's still hazardous to your health. It still causes health issues. It still causes your immune system to be broken down. They just took one little part out, one little, molecule. That's it. And people went back to buying the product. They didn't bother to check it out. I'm asking you, if you're seeing this video right now, there's a reason. Check things out. Look at what you're putting on your skin. Because this chemical element I'm talking about, this poison that they're putting in society freely, and people are buying it up, they're paying for it. Can you imagine? They're paying for it. It can be found in products that go in your mouth when you brush your teeth. And in the old days, if somebody was having a heart attack, you would put something up underneath their tongue, and it would help with that, right? Sublingual, those of you that take homeopathies and put things under your tongue, it's because it's the quickest way to get it into the body. That chemical is also found in hair products. So your skin, big organ, takes in a lot of things. So you heat up your skin, the pores open, they're going to take things in faster, right? So when you take a shower, usually most people take a hot shower or a warm shower, so it opens up all the pores to take the chemical in even faster. And if that's not enough, it's in detergent. It's in fabric softeners. It's in dryer sheets. So you're wearing it on your skin. Anyway, I have to be really careful these days about what I speak about on these public platforms. They've got all kinds of little things that, scan the internet looking for keywords. And I don't want my channel taken off. So, look, be aware, be awake. Seek the knowledge. Okay, seek it. Okay, I'm looking at the comments here just a minute. Somebody says, it's a fight for your mind. Yes, it is a fight for your mind. And then, what is it? You all want to know what the chemical is? Give me a thumbs up. All right, over here, Instagram, you want to know what the chemical is? Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something. Sorry. Okay. The name of the chemical is sodium lauryl sulfate. Sodium lauryl sulfate. And what they changed it to was sodium laureth sulfate. Now, if any of you watching are a chemistry major and you find out that I'm not getting the picture quite right, send me an email, okay? For those of you that don't know, running a business like this is a 60-hour-a-week job, okay? I'm raising a daughter who it has an equal amount of time that she needs help or she needs attention or development, whatever you want to call it. And so I work 120 hours a week. You figure it out. And in between, I'm reading stuff, listening to audiobooks. And you're going to notice, in a perfect world, this is going to go away because I've decided that I better clean my own body up. So doing some detoxes. Anyway, I know this is more real than I normally get. I realize that. But you all needed to hear this. And the last thing I wanted to share with you is the collective consciousness can elevate in awareness. That means every person drawing a breath on this planet, no matter what. If they're a human being, they're on this planet, they have a consciousness. Everybody's thoughts feeds into a giant collective consciousness. And today, One of my clients called me and he said, I woke up not feeling so good today. I don't know what's going on. I feel agitated. I just don't know what's happening. I just feel really agitated. And he's a very peaceful person. Very loving, big heart. And when he said that, I'm like, okay, so it's not just me, okay? And so we began to look into the energies that were going on in the planet through the Akashic records with the time masters. And what we found is it wasn't the collective consciousness that got raised during this last little tick. It was awareness. So Pluto coming into Aquarius with all the other bits and baubles that one of our lovely people mentioned is raising the awareness. So if I'm more awake, aware, and alert that you're putting chemicals in my body in a way that I'm not aware of to make me weaker so that I'll do more of what you tell me to do, is that a good thing or not a good thing? What if somebody came up to you and said, here is a tablet of poison. It won't hurt you very much. It'll make you feel a little sick, but you'll be fine. Would you willingly take it? Or would you say, no, I'm all good? But if they came up to you and they said, I have a little tablet of sugar, sweet, yummy stuff. It's fabulous. It's going to make you feel good. Here, take it. You might take that one. All the while, it would have stuff in it that was hurting you. And maybe not today or tomorrow, but if you took it for 5, 10, 15 years, it could cause cancer. Anyway, I could feel people clicking off now going, oh, she's on her doggy downer day. No! I'm giving you information to think about. I implore you to think about it. Thank you for the hearts. Whoever's giving me hearts over there on Instagram, mwah, thank you. It's not an easy job. Anyway, sodium lauryl sulfate. It's also called sodium laureth sulfate. It has other names. So when enough of us realized that that change was so slight, the sodium lauryl and sodium laureth sulfate, they did something else that you'll recognize. And once you recognize it and you know it, you're like, oh, okay. Have you ever purchased a product and you're starting to read labels and you're like, oh, I really wonder what's in this detergent, whatever it is, clothes, hair, dishes, and you turn it over on the back and it gives you a few of the ingredients and it says for a complete list of ingredients go to the website, and they give you the website. So you're in the store and you're like, all right, let me check it out. You get on your phone, hopefully you can get a signal, and you click on there for the ingredients. I want you to tell me how many clicks it takes you to find those ingredients. After 1 or 2 clicks, people's attention span, they're usually done. It also says on there you can call this 188 number or 1-800 number. And we'll tell you what the ingredients are. Well, I tried it once. And you hear that recording, for this, press this number. For this, press this number. Never once did I find the ingredients. And I clicked all the numbers. What isn't easily found and what is hidden, that's what you want to pay attention to. For those of you old enough to see the old Wizard of Oz movie, and the guy was pulling all the levers and he don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. That's exactly who you pay attention to, man or woman. One of my people over here on Instagram commented with the emoji, where the hands are on the face and the big eyes. Anyway, Let's see. I don't have any more comments. Denise, thank you so much. You've been absolutely amazing. Sodium lauryl sulfate, if you want to know if it's in something, it makes bubbles. You want to know how programmed you are as a human being? You want to know how much has been programmed into you? And you're thinking, oh no, I'm all good, I'm aware. Not everything I've ever used that made suds or big bubbles just by adding water to it, you know. I thought, oh look, I'm getting my dishes clean. Oh look, the soap that I'm using on my skin is really getting stuff off because there's bubbles. My detergent is doing a great job because there's bubbles. That's been programmed into our minds because I switched. As soon as I found out about sodium lauryl sulfate, I switched. And I got a detergent to wash my dishes, and it did clean the dishes. I checked it, but there was no bubbles. And my mind was like, they're not clean. They were perfectly clean. They didn't squeak, but they were clean. How many years had my mind been programmed that if it didn't have bubbles, it wasn't clean? And if you're old school like me, there was a dishwashing detergent, I don't know if it's still around anymore, it's called Palmolive. And you were supposed to wash the dishes in it. And at that time, women were finding that when they washed the dishes in that, as opposed to lard or whatever else they had done for years, that their hands would be dry and chapped. And their fingernails would break. And so they stopped using it. So they came on with a commercial where there was a woman, I think she was a hairstylist or a nail stylist, I don't remember. And she puts this bowl of detergent, you know, with little bubbles on the top, out for the woman to put her fingernails in to soak them so she can clean her fingernails. And the woman jerks her hand back and she's like, oh, no. I'm not putting my hand in there. And she goes, oh, no, it's perfectly safe, and pushes her hand back down in there. Programming. Sales went up. Hands were still dry, nails still broke. Anyway. All right. Well, for those of you that have hung on with me for 48 minutes, I do make the shorter videos now. I've been doing Master Game 2024 tip of the day. It's 30 seconds. I've been hearing back from a lot of you. I intended to just do it until the 19th of November and then be done because, you know, that was the beginning. And I've since had a few of you message me, you know, on Instagram, Facebook, saying, hey, can you keep doing that? That's really helpful. I'm really enjoying those, so I will continue to do them on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. My marketing person asked me if I would do what's called a card of the day. You know, if I would just go every day and pick out a card and, you know, hold it up to the camera and tell you all what I saw for the day. So I may begin mixing those in, just whatever you all need, whatever's helpful or useful to you. So over the next couple of months on toolsofenergyprotection.com, tools with an S, I'm going to be rolling out some more classes, some more events. They will be posted, and it'll tell you when it's coming up, you know, tell you all what's involved and the frequently asked questions. It just takes me a while to get that all up there. And then next year we're going to be rolling out, like I said, the in-person classes. When I put them up, it'll only be for a few people, and it'll be in person because, you know, people are telling me that's what they want. And for those of you that watch me overseas or those of you that watch me in another state, no worries, because I'll do some online ones as well. Anyway, so love and blessings to you all. Again, I'll be at For Heaven's Sake book in Denver, live and in person. If people do one-to-one appointments, they tell me that they walk in the room and their energy instantly feels better. I do have a few slots left. Again, if you want a slot to see me, to do an energy clearing, there's a guy called the Spiritual Awakener or something is on these feeds a lot. And it's about lifting that negative energy out of your energy field and getting you feeling better. Okay? So you can walk in to wherever it is you're having that, you know, family gathering and at least smile, you know, and feel shielded from the negative energy. Another lady asked me today, how do I keep negative energy out of my energy field? Well, the first thing is to recognize it, have a desire to do it, and then reach out to me, because it's more than I can just tell you like that. It takes a little bit. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Anyway, so thank you so much, everybody, for the comments, for coming on this late. I'm going to let this run in the feed for a few days. So if you want to click share with someone else, that'd be great. If this is your first time to join us, be sure and click follow. And then go over to YouTube and put in my name, YouTube at Deanna Gloyd, and it'll pull it up. Click subscribe. That way when I jump on Saturday, you will know when I'm on live, and you can click subscribe on there. Just make sure if you have an iPad or a cell phone, that you go in your settings and you set it so that when somebody goes on live and the notification goes out, you'll get it in your feed, or get it on your phone, and you can always turn it off later. So anyway, thank you so much, all of you, for watching. If you're just jumping in and wait a minute, as soon as it goes off, give it a couple seconds, it'll go into replay. And again, if you need that clearing, if you're like, oh my God, I feel like the morning after, like a lot of people were calling me today, said that they felt after the shift yesterday like they had a hangover and they hadn't been drinking. Then let's get you uprighted. Okay, we got a lot of work to do. So I will talk to you all next week, and big hugs and kisses to you all. And if I don't see you before then, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Give gratitude that you're upright, you're breathing air in and out, you have food to eat, you have, a family, a car to drive, whatever it is that you want to give thanks for, or that you know that you are part of the divine creator source of all. Have a great night.